external style sheet we have problem, right? What is problem in external style sheet? What is the problem in external style sheet? Is it good every time, or what is problem with external style sheet? Tell me. What is problem in external style sheet? So external style sheet. Technically, what will happen if I use external style sheet? What will happen if we use external style sheet? If we use external style sheet, first point you have to tell, yeah, it increases the number of requests. That is the key point. Understood? It increases the number of requests to a page. That is the key point first. It increases the number of requests to page. If number of requests to page increase, then what will happen? If number of requests to page will increase, then what will happen? So the page load time will increase, right? Yeah. Page load time will increase, right? So these are the basic things you need to understand. And to compress the CSS files, what technique we use? To compress the CSS files, what techniques we use? To compress the CSS files, we use a technique called minification, right? Minification technique. Understand the English first. Technique. So technique is minification, right? So the minification is compressing the files actually, right? Next important, after understanding that, now we need to know how to write the styles. We need to know how to write the styles. So that means we have to understand style syntax. We need to understand the style syntax. So how to write the styles? Generally, when you write styles inline syntax is actually like this. You will have some tag, then we use style attribute. Here we have to use attribute name, or we can also call style attribute name and its value. If multiple attributes are there, now semicolon and another attribute and value. You can write like this. This is how generally inline styles are written. So now the attributes that you have defined, they will be applied to heading. Because you written inside heading, they will be applied to heading. But when you write embed or when you write CSS external file, when you write in embed and external file, so here we have to write. So I will show you here. Right. So when you are writing embedded, so then generally we have to write inside. I will write a style tag. And here we have to write the effects. Generally, how to write the effects? We have to put a block, that is style block. In that block, we have to define some background color as red, some color as white. So text align center, like this we are writing. Now the problem here is when you write a set of effects, you have to tell where to apply these effects. Where to apply these effects. So we are writing some set of effects. We are writing some set of effects. then it is very important to tell where to apply these effects. That is decided by selector. That is decided by selector. So in CSS, selector is very important. Selector doesn't require, we don't need selector. We don't need selector if we are writing inline. We need selector only when you are writing embedded or in external file. We need selector only in that situation. So we don't need selector when we are writing inline. When you are writing inline, selector is required when you are writing embedded or external file. Selector indicates where to apply these effects. And primary selectors, we have 3 primary selectors. So many other types of selectors also you will learn. Primary selectors, we have type selector, we have ID selector, and we have class selector. These are primary selectors: type selector, ID selector, class selector. What is type selector? Type selector is nothing but, so it allows you to define tag name. That means to which tag you want to apply, you have to tell the tag name. That means now I want to apply to heading. Suppose below that heading some paragraph is there. So like it is a markup language. So CSS, it is used to define styles. So and JavaScript, so it is used for client side interactions like this. Right. Now you can see here in this, now we have to tell where to apply these effects. So I can write here directly the tag name to which tag we want to apply. The tag name is I want to apply to heading 1. Here the selector, I am writing heading 1. Now you can see that it is going to apply to heading. It is going to apply to heading. So you can see it is going to apply to headings, all headings. So you can write multiple also. You can put comma, you can say P. That means it will apply for paragraph also. You can define multiple with comma. That means for all of them, these effects will apply. It will apply for both heading and paragraph. You can put comma and you can define the effects. This is type selector. What is good, what is bad about type selector is, good is it will apply to all elements. Wherever heading 1 comes, it will apply. For example, I have heading 1 and here I say web technologies. Here this also will apply with the same effects, but I want this in a different style. If I want that in a different style and I don't want everywhere, so then type selector is problem. Why? Because type selector, wherever that element comes, it will apply. You can't ignore. This is the problem with type selector. That means wherever heading 1 comes, it will apply that effect. Wherever paragraph comes, it will apply that effect. No, I don't want like that. I want to apply to only the element that I need. In that case, what you can do is, instead of type selector, you can use ID selector. ID selector is defined by using hash. ID selector is defined by using hash. And you can give a name. 'Suppose heading', that is the name. Now, ID selector is defined by using hash. And you can give a name. Suppose heading, that is the name. Now, 'Type selector' is defined by using hash. ID selector is defined by using hash. And you can give a name. Suppose heading, that is the name. Now, 'Type selector' is defined by using hash. IDs are accessible, ID selectors are accessible by using ID word. I want to apply for first heading. I will put ID as heading. I will save this. Automatically that effect will be applied to first one. Suppose I want to apply to CSS paragraph. Then I will go to CSS paragraph and I will call that ID heading. So that means in CSS, you can access that and apply to several elements. And you can apply to only the element that you want. You can apply to a heading, to paragraph, to table, anywhere. That's suitable with background and text. You can apply that. So ID selector allows you to apply to only to the element that you want. So you can use both. That means it depends on your requirement. So you can write one like this. You can write another paragraph. Color is equal to blue like this. Then it will apply paragraph colors to blue. It will change that. But for this paragraph, that effect is working fine. That means you can use all combinations. Doesn't matter. So what is advantage with ID selector? You can apply some, you can configure some effects and you can apply to only the element that you want. That is ID selector. But what is problem with ID selector? ID selector also have some problem. The problem for ID selector is, one of the main problem with ID selector is, generally every element can have only one ID. Sometimes what we do is, while writing effects, we classify our effects. While writing the effects, we classify the effects. Generally, we classify the effects. That means, see, what we do is actually, so we are writing heading. Instead of that, we write like this. Hash, suppose, text effects. In text effects, we will put text align center. Color as red. Okay. I will put another ID, back effects. In back effects, we will put background color, yellow. What is advantage of, and I will put some border, some 2 pixel solid red. Okay. What is advantage of this is, you can apply only backgrounds if you want to one element. You can apply only text effects if you want to any element. But sometimes we want both for an element. Suppose you see now, I am adding, so ID as text effects. Then you can see text effects is applied. I want to apply background effects. You cannot apply. Excuse. You cannot apply. It will allow to only one. For example, you see now, I am trying to write another ID as back effects. It will not work. It will not take that back effects. So it's not working. Suppose I try to write like this. So text effects, comma, back effects. So it is also not working. Text effects, some space, back effects. It will never work. ID means only one. It's not working. So what is problem with ID? What is good about ID? What is problem with ID? The good about ID is, generally, you can choose to which element you want. The problem with it is multiple you cannot apply. In that case, so this is not great. So then what you can do is, you can use class selector. ID selector is defined with hash, class, and it is accessed by using ID. Class selector is defined with dot, and it is accessed with class. That means class selector. So we have to define that. Class selector we have to define here. You can see class selector, we can add a dot. So that means now this is class. And if you want to apply them, what is advantage of is classes? So class, you can use both one. You can say text effects, and remember, when you write the IDs and classes, capitalization matters. Exactly how you written, in the same way you have to access. Text effects is applied, and you can put a space and you can write back effects. Multiple classes can be applied by separating with space. You can just put a space, multiple classes can apply. I will save this. Now you can see both are working fine. So that means you can apply multiple. We can configure and apply multiple. That's very important. Here so many questions will be there. I will tell you. So the question is, can I apply both ID and class? If I apply both ID and class, which one will work? These questions are very important. I will tell you those rules. In the next level, we will discuss about them. First, if you understood what is difference between these three, how to apply with various combinations, I will tell you. What are the rules we will discuss later. Initially, primary selectors, we have type selector, ID selector, class selector. If you want to apply everywhere, then type selector. If you want to apply to specific, then use ID. If you want multiple, then better instead of ID, you go with classes. That will be better. Because class can apply one also, multiple also. So that is the reason majority situations you will see class selectors used. But it is nothing like which one is best. All three are used depending on the situation and requirement. So I hope everyone understood these three primary selectors. Everyone clear? Understood the differences between them? Type selector, ID selector, class selector. Good. Now, once we know that the selectors primarily these three are used, type, ID and class selector. Now the selectors are again classified into different types based on their behavior. So we have different groups of selectors. So selectors are classified into various groups. So many types of selectors are there. I will give you the selectors. First important, we have rational selectors, or you say combinators. Rational selectors or combinators. Rational selectors and combinators, they are used to apply effects based on parent and child relation. So child relation, and not only parent and child relation, they are used to define element and hierarchy relation. Hierarchy means under one element another element, or not parent child, beside that element, below that element, above that element, like that. That is hierarchy. So based on that we can apply the effects. What are those? I will tell you. So we have different rational combinators. What are those rational combinators? What we have? First we have descendant selector. We call descendant selector. Descendant selector, generally, what is the purpose of descendant selector? Descendant selector means how it is written and what it is. We have a parent and we have space child, parent space child, and we have to write effects like this. This is descendant selector. This is descendant selector. We call this as descendant selector. For example, you see now here we are defining some effects. Let's create. Now we are adding some effects. So we are configuring some effects. So let's keep here descendant, how it will work. Suppose I will keep here an ordered list. In that list item, like some item 1, so like item 2. So these are some items available. Item 1, item 2, we are configuring this. And some item 3, like this we are defining. Now this is list item, we are configuring that list item. Generally, why we need these hierarchies? Because sometimes what happens is we will have unordered list. In that also list item will be there. So suppose item some 4, so like item list item some item 5, or it is a separate list like item 1, item 2, something is there. Now generally what happens is, if you try to apply effects to list item, I want to apply to list item, then generally if I write in the style li, then I say color red, it will apply everywhere. Wherever that list item comes, it will be both ordered list and unordered list. But I want to apply to list item only when it is present in unordered list. Then you can say ul space and list item. That means it will apply to every list item under unordered list only, not others. That means it will apply only to that. So this is called descendant selector. We call this descendant selector. Descendant selector is very much used when same type of element may have for different options. So that means when you are designing HTML elements, same child element is used under different options, and in that case we need this mechanism. So descendant selector to apply to only specific, under specific parent child. So this is the parent and it will apply to all elements under it. Sometimes in that unordered list, so we are having, so that means it will not apply for ordered list, only unordered list. If I say OL, then it will apply for only ordered list, only for ordered list. So that depends on where you want to apply and where you want to configure. Sometimes what happens is we will have a parent and child hierarchies also. We will have parent and child hierarchies. So parent and child hierarchies. This is, first one is descendant. It can be not only ordered list, unordered list. It can be anything like, suppose I kept a div. This is parent. Inside it P, that is paragraph. So that means suppose it is para 1. That means now P is the child of div. That is how hierarchy works. So it doesn't mean that every time it is ordered list, unordered list. So this is the parent. In that parent, this is the child. This is the child. Okay. I am writing another div. In that div, I have a span. In that span, I have a paragraph. So now, second paragraph is the second paragraph direct child of div. What do you say? Is second paragraph direct child of div? Is second paragraph direct child of div? No, it is not direct. It is child, but not direct child. Because in that we have a span. In the span we have paragraph. Now generally see what happens. If I apply here I apply. So div and space P. What does this means? It means that it will apply to all paragraphs inside div. Understood? It will apply to all paragraphs inside the div. Apply to all paragraphs inside the div. That means I say color red. Then you can see it is applied to all paragraphs inside the div. That means it will apply for both paragraph 1 and 2. It is applying for both paragraphs. That means it will apply to any level child. So if I write descendant selector, it will apply to any level child. Any level child it will apply. But we have a child selector. What is difference between descendant and child selector is child selector will apply only to direct child. Direct child, that is written like this: parent, angle braces, child, like this. What is difference between space and this? This will apply only to direct child. It will apply only to direct child, not others. That means if I put here greater than like this, that means it will apply to paragraph in div only if it is a direct child. Direct child. That means for which paragraph that color should apply now? For which paragraph that color should apply now? For which? Yes, good. So now you can see it is going to apply only for paragraph 1. So what is difference between space and this symbol? Space will apply to all levels. It will apply only to the direct level. That is the child selector. We have descendant selector and we have child selector. Now sometimes, suppose here I am writing like this. Here I am writing like this. So let's write an option here. Suppose heading 2. So topics. Okay, under that we have para 1. So para 2. Para 2. So para 3, like this. So para 3. Now tell me, are para 1, 2, 3 are the child of topics? Are the child of headings? Para 1, 2, 3 are the child of headings? They are not child. How they can be child? Child means they must be inside. Understood? They are not child. Child means they must be inside. They are inside heading or below heading. They are inside heading or below heading. That means the relation is not parent child. Understood? The relation is not parent child. So we call this as two options are there. We have general sibling, and we have general sibling, we have adjacent sibling. General sibling and adjacent sibling, we have that option. General sibling is defined with tilde symbol actually. That means here we have element A and tilde symbol and element B. Like this we write the fx. Adjacent sibling means element A plus element B. That is how we write. What is difference is, now if I write here, so I want to apply to heading, I write here heading 2 and I put here space P. Now color is equal to red. For which paragraph the color will be applied? For which paragraph the color will be applied? For which paragraph color will be applied. Now what is that selector I written? What is the selector I written? The selector I written is descendant selector, na? Yeah, good. Descendant selector. So descendant selector will apply for child elements. Is paragraph child element? So paragraph child element, is paragraph child element? No. That means now it is going to apply nothing, nowhere. So this is only for child. If I write here plus adjacent, that means it will apply to adjacent paragraph. That means now tell me for which paragraph it will apply. Adjacent paragraph means heading adjacent paragraph is paragraph 1. That's good, right? That means it is going to apply only for first paragraph. Understood? Going to apply only for the first paragraph. That is adjacent. Now if I use tilde symbol, that indicates general sibling. That means it will apply to all. If you want to apply to all, then you have to use general sibling. If you want to apply to the specific, then you have to use adjacent only, then you have to use this. Later you will see how you can apply to third paragraph or second paragraph or any paragraph that you want at any levels also. But we have two selectors, general sibling, adjacent sibling. General sibling, it will apply to all of them. Adjacent sibling to the next one. So that is how you can configure. And remember, this is used only for siblings, not that means so that come after them. Sibling means they come after them. That means generally you say brother, sister, like that. That means is elder or not. So depending on that, elder or older, depending on that. It's not under it. So general sibling, adjacent sibling. These are the combinators actually. These are all combinators. So we have 4 combinators here. Descendant selector, child selector, general sibling, adjacent sibling. Depending on the parent-child hierarchy, depending on the sibling hierarchy, it will apply. Next important, we have another category, attribute selectors. Attribute selectors. This is also very much important. Attribute selectors are very important. We need to know so many things about attribute selectors. What is combination of attribute selectors? Actually, attribute selectors means, suppose you see here, some in various occasions we can use them, but here I am writing, so I am designing here simply some name, input type is equal to text. Okay, then in the next line, suppose I said password, so input type is equal to password. Okay, in the next line, so I have like input type is equal to button, so value is equal to some login. Okay, now generally I want to apply, so input type is equal to input type is equal to some button, and type value is equal to cancel. Okay, actually here, so for this design I want to apply color for buttons. Then I write here input, so background color is yellow, then it will apply to all of them because all are done by using input only. All are done by using input only. That means same tag is used for several options. Same tag is used for several options. If same tag is used for several options, then what is problem? The problem is it will apply everywhere. But we want to apply only when here the type is button. In that case, I cannot write like this, space type. Why? Because type is not a tag. Type is not tag. Type is what is type? In the input element, what is type? Type is an attribute. So depending on attribute, I want to apply the effects. Then we have to write like this. Input square brace. Here we have to write attribute. Attribute is type is equal to value. Value is button. If it is equal to button, then it will apply everywhere button is there. So if I say input type is equal to text, only for text it will apply. Input type password, only for password it will apply. You can choose it depending on that. You can choose where you want to apply. So many times you can apply based on attribute. Here this is what actually we call attribute select. Here so many points are there. For example, see, attribute you can directly write also. Suppose I have given P para 1 and P para 2 and P some para 4, 3 and para 4. Okay, now I am applying for paragraph, and you see in this second paragraph an ID called suppose P1, P2. Fourth paragraph is having ID called P4. Now I want to apply color to all paragraphs. I want to apply color to all paragraphs where ID is present. I don't care what ID value is present, because ID value is 2 for one element, ID value is P4 for another element. I want to just apply wherever ID is present. In that case, we can write like this. P in the square brace, you can just write ID. That's it. Color red. That means wherever paragraph is having ID, that paragraph will apply the color, will be applied with the color. That means you can simply write attribute also. No need of value. That means the element which is having that attribute, it will apply with the effect. But if you want specific, then you can write value also. That means ID is equal to P4. Then it will apply only for P4. So otherwise, it will apply only for paragraphs that have ID. You can define that. So you can apply everywhere. That is generally done. Now, while applying paragraphs, while applying this attribute selectors, several conditions are present. So lot of conditions are present. Generally, how do we write the condition? Suppose I am writing here, see, paragraph 1 is having a class. So it is having a class called, suppose, para effect. So it is having a class called effect, para effect. Okay. And the second paragraph is having a class called effect. Okay. Third one is having a class called effect para. And fourth one is having a class called some para effect and style, like this, para effect style, something like this we written. And remember, here we are writing paragraph and class is equal to effect. class is equal to effect. Color is red. Now tell me to which paragraph that color will apply. For which paragraph that color will apply. In every class, the effect word is there. Then which one you think it will? Okay, good. Okay. Actually, equal here, which symbol we are using? Equal symbol we are using. Equal means exact match. Understood? Equal means exact match. Exact match, now tell. Equal means exact match. Exact match means, yeah. So exact match, it will apply to the second paragraph. Equal means exact match. Understood? Equal means exact match. It will only. Equal. When you equal, it will apply to exact match with. Exponential means starts with. The word starts with. Now tell me for which paragraph it will apply. Starts with. Starts with. So it will apply for both second and third. Very good, right? Good, good. It will apply for second and third. So because they are starting with effect, it will apply for second and third. And you can see it is applying for second and third. That's good, right? So that is exponent. Exponent indicates it starts with. It starts with, yeah. And if you define, yeah, good. If you define dollar equal, this indicates ends with. Ends with. Now tell me where it will apply. It indicates ends with. Tell me where it will apply. It will apply for first and second one. Second one also apply, na? Because second one is starting, ending, everywhere. Ends with, right. Ends with, right. That's what actually ends with. That means it is going to define ends with. Now you can see here, so ends with means it will apply for both first and second. Now here actually we can use tilde equal. Tilde equal is actually equal to exact match only. And that is deprecated. Now we are not using this tilde equal anymore. Direct equal is enough actually. Some options are outdated, we don't prefer. So it is still websites will show you, because the websites are very old websites, tutorials they will show you, but these are outdated, we don't need them anymore, so we don't prefer to using them also. So better you know about equal, exponent equal, dollar equal, and asterisk equal. It will apply everywhere. Asterisk equal is going to apply everywhere. That means wherever that word comes, it is going to apply that. Tilde equal is used in a different situation, I will tell you. It is used, I will tell you where it is used, I will show you. So in now people use tilde equal also, but it is a different situation. So where that different situation comes, I will tell you. So here, so means in this situation, we don't use prefer. Till asterisk means it will apply everywhere. Asterisk means it will apply everywhere. Where we use this tilde symbol is also used, but not general effects. It is actually used where it indicates that name starts with and have spaces also, blank space and contains space. Because start with already it is there. In this situation, it's not required. Sometimes what happens is, I will have a paragraph. So class is equal to, suppose we have an option, effect space style. Generally like this, I am giving the space. This is para 5. That means now tilde what will happen actually, tilde means it will apply that space also. Suppose if I use equal, and you can see that it is not applied there. That is the problem. If to overcome that situation, we use tilde. Tilde means, so technically, It indicates that it is starting with and have some space. For that we use tilde, right? That means it will apply, it is going to apply for the second and last paragraph. If you are having spaces, because generally classes have space. If you are having spaces, then you can use this tilde symbol. So these are all the conditions for attribute selectors. Attribute selector, we generally give element. That means, remember, attribute selector is used like this also. Suppose heading 2, you can use like this, or you can write effects. You can put for hash some name, and you can have attribute also. Now any element with this which is using this ID is having this attribute, then it will apply that effect. You can use for class also. Class also we can use. It's not like you have to use with type combination only. You can use with ID combination, class combination, depending on your requirement. But conditions are very important. That means, so here we write element and attribute is equal to value. Only attribute also you can give, attribute equal to value you can give. Now you have so many conditions for that. So what are the conditions? Attribute exponent equal. So attribute dollar equal. So attribute tilde equal, and attribute asterisk equal. These are all the conditions. These are the conditions generally we use for attribute selectors. When you are configuring attribute selectors, these all options are used here. In the notes, I given every example for every concept. You can go through them, right? These are attribute selectors. Next important, another we have dynamic pseudo classes. Dynamic pseudo classes. What is this meaning? I will tell you first. Dynamic means they are changed according to situation. Dynamic means they are changed according to situation. And the pseudo classes means, pseudo means it alike, we call it as alike, but it is not same. For example, that means it may have that name, but it doesn't means that. Generally, suppose I have written like this, home. Generally, we call this as a link, but officially it is a linker. What do you say? Officially, it is a link or anchor. What it is? It is a link or anchor. It is anchor. Actually, link means link tag is there, na? Link means link tag is there. That means sometimes the names that we use, they doesn't mean what they are actually. That is the problem. That is the option actually. The names that we use, they are not the same what we are trying to deal with. That's the reason they are called as pseudo. We call them as pseudo. Why they are called pseudo? Because they doesn't mean but by the name what they are dealing with. That means if I write here, colon link if I write, so that means it will apply to which element? It will be used for which element? Not link element. It is not used for link element. It is used for anchor element. The word is link, but it is working for anchor element. That is the reason they call as pseudo. We call them as pseudo. We have so many pseudo classes, like we have link, we have visited, so we have active, so we have hover, and we have focus. I hope these four already we discussed, remember? These four already we discussed when we learnt about links concept, hyperlinks. Huh? So right, we discussed all. Right. Now the point is, we discussed while working with hyperlinks, I told you all of them. That means, now what we need to do here is, suppose here we have a link anchor home, and here we have href is equal to some home.html. Like this we are giving. Now generally for this we need to apply, that means anchor. Now to this we need to apply a class. It should implement a class. It should implement a class. Implement a class. Classes are implemented by using the colon. Colon is used to implement the class. So link is a class. Link is a class. So visited is a class. Active is a class. We call them classes. Classes are inherited. Classes are inherited by using colon. So what we have to do, we have to inherit. That means we have to, anchor should inherit link class. When it inherits link class, this link class tells what effects to apply. What effects to apply. So to normal link. That means I will put normal link. Text decoration as none. Okay. Normal link text decoration is none. That means you see the text decoration is not there. Underline is not there. Okay. Now when I move the mouse over, anchor hover. That means hover is a class. It will implement this class when mouse pointer is over. Then text decoration will be underline. Okay. That means on mouse over, underline will come. Out, it is gone. It is not only for link, you can give anywhere. Suppose I am giving a heading. So suppose test. See, I have written here like heading 2. For heading, so general heading color. So general heading color. Color I given as red. Okay. And heading 2, when hover, that means when mouse pointer is over, then its color will be blue. That's your wish. You can change the height, you can change the width, you can change anything. Now you can see it will be like this. On hover, one effect. You can adjust the size, you can change the effects. So many things we can do. So we will see several examples working with them. That means it doesn't mean that these are used only for links. So this is only for link, but hover is used anywhere. You can use for links, you can use for headings, anywhere you can write. And active is also used for link. That means when we hold down, then color I will give as some red color I applied. That means when I move the mouse and hold down the button, then it is red color. And visited color, you know that visited color should be gray color like A. If it is visited link, then visited link color I will put as gray. Then if it is a visited link, its color will be gray. Already you know what is the meaning of visited. So these are applied everywhere. These are applied everywhere. So we can apply this link and class and active. These classes are applied. That is why they are called dynamic pseudo classes. Classes are applied by using colon. And we are applying, inheriting. That element is inheriting and applying the effects. It is inheriting and applying the effects. And the pseudo classes generally, so these are there. Focus is used for elements when they get focus. Already we know text boxes and all these can have focus. I will keep a div here. So name, input type is equal to text. Now when it gets focus, I want to display something. That means I want to put some effects into it. You can do lot of techniques also. Suppose see, I click inside it. That means it is focus. Then I can put some colors. For colors effects, for example, I can simply write like this now. So input, so if type is equal to text, input type is equal to text and it is focus. When it is focus, then apply border as 2 pixel solid and green color to it. Solid green color to it. So and apply some box shadow. Apply some box shadow. 2 pixel, 3 pixel, 4 pixel, and a green color shadow apply. And you can see it is going to apply that shadow color when it gets focus. When it is losing the focus, it is gone. When get focus, it will display that. So when it get focus, it will display. Get focus, it will have that effect actually. And lose focus, it is gone. Not only focus, you can do lot of things actually. That means, for example, so I want to show some alerts, messages. You can do that. Depending on whatever the techniques you have learned, you can apply. That is where you have to learn the techniques. That means you have to implement by yourself actually. Suppose when anybody clicks inside it, I don't want to apply color. So here we have a span. The span is name in block letters. Like this it is there, name in block letters. Observe carefully, this message should come only when they click inside it. So otherwise it should not display. Then how to control that? That is where your techniques will come. That means you have to write. See, if you think this is lengthy, you can simply put a class for it, or you can put an ID. So txt name is ID. I want to apply for it. Then I can write hash txt name. Okay. So plus span. What does this means? What does that means? What does that means? It means that it is applying effect to the adjacent element. Am I right? So that span is adjacent to text box. Span is adjacent to text box. Yes. So what we will do, display, we will put none. Display, we will put none. Then initially you can see it is not there. Initially it is not there. When I click inside it, so when I click inside it, then it should display. Then what we will do is hash txt name dot colon focus. When text box get focus, then plus span. That means the adjacent span should display inline. Then you can see that when I click inside it, it will display. When I click outside, it will hide. You can apply colors, you can display messages like this, you can do. It depends on the situation. Suppose some Raj and click outside, now it is okay. That's the tips, like things we can show and hide and we can display that. These are very important. So that is actually focus, means how we can write for the focus. These are classes. These classes are implemented and any element can inherit the classes. So inheritance symbol, this is caller. Inheritance of classes. It is inheriting the classes and it is applying those effects. These are all under the dynamic pseudo classes. That is link, visited, active, hover and focus, all these are. Now we have some more options, some more selectors are there that we will discuss tomorrow. Then tomorrow we will finish all the selectors. Then we can learn effects like text effects, background effects, others and everything we will learn. Tomorrow we will finish all the selectors. Okay, right.